morning market update. My name is Todd Rich. I am with Nadex. With me today, I've got Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple. We're going to take a look at what was going on in the overnight markets and take a look at maybe some hot spots that you might want to be aware of as the cash markets open. Before I flip things over to Brian, I do have to take care of a quick housekeeping item. Our quick disclaimer, I'm going to leave this up here for a second and give everyone an opportunity to read it, but it says that trading on Nadex does involve risk and may not be appropriate for everyone, and that any trading decisions you make are solely your own responsibility and done at your own risk. Lastly, I do want to point out this is educational in nature. This is an educational session. Please do not construe anything either Brian or myself say as a buy or sell recommendation. We're doing this for your education. With that, let me turn it over to Brian Caprice.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So a couple things we're looking at today. We're mixing it up a little bit. I want to go over and I'm going to cover two kind of very commonly traded futures products, oil and then also the NQ, because that's been kind of on fire. So at this point, let me switch over and you guys should be able to see this chart right now. So oil's been in an interesting position where, the last couple of weeks, and let me bring this up to like kind of a higher time frame just so you guys can kind of get an idea. Oil has been extremely volatile. And again, a lot of lines on here, a lot of different zones I was looking at and you're looking at over the last couple of weeks. But watching price, you can see that price is really kind of pushed rather far down. In the last couple of weeks, I've also drawn for you guys where we've talked about things like measured moves, where we had one big push here, and you can see that we had almost an identical move back in the same thing. If I kind of bring these lines on top, they are almost identical. And one of the kind of tricks / tactics that some traders will do is they talk about measure moves to the top side. All right. So another measured move would be what the retracement looks like. And if I take that same level, I can take this level and bring it over and give you another measure moved area, kind of coming up right around where we are right now. So today is kind of a big telltale sign of what can happen with oil. The oil inventory report that came out earlier, very, very large miss. I don't know if you guys were watching it this morning or not, but huge miss, right? Let me get this out of the way right now. So right now we're sitting up in this level is where our measured move is. Now we can see that on the 30-minute time frame, you can see that there have been some sellers in this area, but it's kind of pushed it deep and it's kind of pushed it a little bit higher, and it made multiple attempts into there. So what that leads me to believe is that we will go just slightly higher. So what I'm looking for is the next kind of really clean level coming in, and you can see there's a little bit of basing before a drop, but this is quite a large level. And it's tested. What I mean by tested is it's already come up once, and the sellers literally nailed that thing right back down again. We're here. There's a base. I like it. I think it's it's a viable entry. Around 39.40ish. But if I'm looking for something from the past that I've seen sellers step in, right there, I'm looking around this 35.75 level with a topside risk target on this one of 39.95. And again, number of different ways it could do that. Again, we could have the rest of the news this week be good. Today's reaction to news was, again, a little bit of bouncing back and forth, but a bit of a push higher. I think that gives us a viable entry heading late into the week, or even, again, for the rest of this week, if we maintain just a slight grind higher, it always is a great way to start the week, being at kind of a high in a level where we've had sellers in the past to kind of roll over. So again, maybe a target later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday for news. But if anything, if we have not gotten up there or we're opening up there on Sunday night, this would be a viable target again for me to get short. And again, at that point, I would love to see what the knockout brackets look like on Sunday night if we maintain this the rest of the week higher, just because, again, then I have 5 days worth of duration to be able to help ride that back to the downside.
Definitely interesting. Let's take a quick peek what we've got over there on some knockouts in the oil markets. Let's go ahead and jump over and take a look. Here we go. Helps if I go to the commodities. I am going to bring up the oil knockouts, and let's give me some screen real estate. I think a 30-minute chart should suffice here. Yeah, you're looking up at the 39.75. Yeah, I think this particular knockout with the 39.50 ceiling might be a little too close to playing with
Yeah, I think it's the
fire.
one right higher than that. If you click
Yep.
higher, I think there's
So
one
we're going to
right.
go ahead and there's this opportunity. If we see uh, oil roll up into that uh, just shy of 40-ish level.
Mhm.
This could be an interesting potential play if you're looking for a rollover up in that range and see a pullback. So
Yeah, and it's gonna
definitely
be a
something to look at.
psychological, it's gonna be a psychological point as well, just coming up to that 40 level. So again, with the way that I would play this is if it pushes up into that range, look for a little bit of a basing and a pullback, and then look for a failure to punch higher than that, and that will give us the an established level of risk using that 40, 50.
Excellent. Excellent. I think that's definitely something for people to pay attention to. Let's go ahead and you mentioned you wanted to cover
The NQ as well.
NASDAQ. So
Yep.
yeah, let's go ahead and take a peek at what's going on over there.
Yeah, so the NQ, this is an hourly chart of the NQ, and you can see today this thing has just been on fire. With the election, obviously we've had a quick spike up, and then all of a sudden a quick rollover, and then a punch back forward again. What I'm looking at this one is again, this is the 4-hour chart, and you can see what a typical move looks like. I mean, even here, this is I wouldn't say typical, but the move we're in right now is even faster at a greater descent, a greater angle than what we're looking for there. Again, huge emotional response. When you see these huge emotional responses, you typically do see kind of a rollover, and you can see, last time the price was up in this range between 11,911 and 11,973. You can see that not only did we punch higher and failure to go, failure to go past this area, we've pulled back based, and then boom, it popped down very, very fast. Right, you're able to see it kind of come through here. Dropping into lower time frame, we can kind of check those levels out. This is what those two levels look at. The dotted line is sitting right around here, and you can see price made an attempt. It wanted to go higher. It wanted to break the 11,973. It based. It completely ran out of support. All the buyers were gone. They fought it. They fought it. They fought it. And as soon as they stepped out, the sellers hammered it down, based, and dropped it again. And that's been a psychological level we haven't been able to get to for a while. Well, we finally have broken through that psychological level. Here was the last bit of sellers. It got pushed down, and then finally the buyer stepped in and pushed it higher. So what I'm looking for is a kind of an alert around 11,911. Looking for kind of an upper area, and again, there's two here. We could use 11,962 or 1,200 as kind of our top section there to be able to kind of take this short. And again, what it is, it's reversing this just absolutely monstrous move. And again, you can see here, this is typical monstrous move up. We found, it made an attempt, it put that high in, and then the entry would come in right after that, right here on that retest. I'm looking for the same thing to happen here. This emotional, huge push up, a pullback like this, right? I'm looking for a bit of a pullback down. Well, let me change that real quick to solid so everybody can see it. Something along those lines, right? Some type of a pullback, very kind of similar to this. And again, maybe it gives us a double, but again, looking for a pullback. I'm looking for a push in again that doesn't go as high, and then there's my trigger to be able to take this one short. Another trigger for this one as well is, again, obviously the election coming to fruition, but non-farm payroll. This type of rally in 4 hours, we could see this literally hit, pull back in the next day, in the next 24 hours, print the next 6 candles to give us this entry with a very bad non-farm payroll number on Friday. Again, we've had bad employment data all week. If we continue to get that, this could be a big move, retracing it back down into even potentially the 11,300 range. So again, I would recommend looking at what knockouts, where the knockouts are. And again, if we are still floating in this area, this could even be one of those opportunities with the right out of the money binary. It could be kind of a sweet spot as well.
Definitely an interesting setup. It sounds a little similar to oil, where you've got that psychological level in oil up around 40, and
Yeah.
you're looking for it to drift higher and then roll over. It sounds like you're kind of saying something similar with with NASDAQ, but with that 12,000 level instead of the 40 for oil. Let's take a quick peek over here at. I am on the Tech 100, the NASDAQ. Boy, I mean, we have seen a pretty dramatic rise. What do we have up above? Yeah, we we don't have a knockout that's all the way up here. The highest knockout we've got right now is 11,935. So maybe not the greatest setup. If you might want to wait as it drifts higher. More knockouts will be listed up above here.
Yeah, I mean, you can see right there, you're about to stop out of one right now.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably going to be the second one. Yeah, it'll probably be the second one. Then when the second one knocks out around one more over, to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, when it breaks 11,875 is probably when that will print up near the 12,000. And again,
Right.
12,000, as you mentioned, huge psychological level. So again,
Yeah.
if we can get positive, again, more certainty in the markets, market continues to rally as the election comes to a close for Friday. That also filters right into non-farm payroll, and again, gives us a limited risk ability to get into the trade with a psychological level, the conclusion of the election, as well as a non-farm payroll number that has been, in reality, disappointing all week.
You mentioned non-farm payroll. I do like to call it to everyone's attention that we do have these event contracts at Nadex. They're binary options where you can take a look. Where you try to make up your prediction. Is the number the number that actually gets reported, is it going to be greater than or equal to certain levels? You can clearly see the 600,000 levels, the one where people are gauging that from. But if you think it's going to come in above or below that number, you can make your prediction in the Nadex non-farm payroll event binary options.
Yeah, the 600,000 is what the forecast is right now. And just to kind of put that in context for everybody that's listening today, if you look at the data from this morning, as far as the ADP non-farm employment change, which is slightly different, the forecast was 650,000. The actual came in at 365,000. So just about at the half mark. So it could be an interesting trade setup on Friday.
Definitely interesting. Definitely something to be paying attention to. With that, I would like to mention that if anyone has any questions with Nadex, please reach out to us, customer service at nadex.com. I'd also suggest that you might want to consider following us on one of our social media channels. If you've got any questions for Brian, you can reach him, email support@keeptradingsimple.com. With that, I would very much like to wish everyone good luck in the markets, and hopefully you'll be back to join us tomorrow morning as we do another analysis session. Thanks, everyone.